right, a very good morning to you, waking up to us. This is the Kokoliriko Live, and we're already here for the final edition for this week. And my name is FARISH Majid, and it's a great pleasure having you on board this morning. And from wherever you are watching us from, you're most welcome aboard as we start off this show officially with you. And this is why we are here each and every Mondays to Fridays, and right from the hour of 7 to 9 o'clock. And it is also the show where you will be knowing what is happening in your country, maybe in the world of maybe socio-economic transformation as the country's goal is, and then politics, and not forgetting other issues that could be happening within your socially within also really your vicinities. And that is why we are here each and every Mondays to Fridays, right from the hour of 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And remember, you too can also be part of the discussions by dropping your comments and really also letting us know maybe what you think about the topics that we shall be also dwelling on very much on the show. But really, to begin off the show with, really let's look at what is happening in the world of trade, because this is where we are seeing a lot of strikes going on by the traders. Even if you look at what is happening in Kampala right now, I must also say we did witness running battles within also security operatives and the vendors, and this was in Arua City. And really the one that is happening in Kampala is over high taxes and against what they call the FARISH system, which is actually one that is being used by Uganda Revenue Authority. But all this, I must remind you, is also causing, that is maybe an unfairness, maybe to the traders, as they say, because they usually claim that these things are against their rights, because really what is happening, first of all, when you look at what is happening in Kampala, the traders also did reject, that is the request by the minister to call off the strike, and that is also something we did see on the papers as of yesterday and today. Really, we have also been told that today they will be meeting, that is the President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to also really discuss on their grievances. And recently, we did see also really the President also really maybe requesting to meet these people, and where he did ask them to carry out, that is COVID-19 test, as such that they would also really be meeting him. And these are the leaders of these traders who are currently maybe also striking against the overtaxation. This is under the FARISH system, and this group is actually brought under their umbrella body, the Kasita, who are really ongoing with the strikes. And we did see the strikes also really spreading to the other areas across Uganda. And I must say, this could be also really moving up to Arua. And really with what we did see yesterday, if at all, we also add this one, where exactly it shall be, we be going. And then what about us, the final consumers, and how it's going to impact on us? These are the questions also really that could be lingering in your mind, just like me. But really we want to say, today we expect a lot in that meeting that is between the leadership of the traders and the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, where we do expect these traders also really to echo out their grievances. And now we expect government also really to come out with comprehensive answers, that is as to why maybe the high overtaxation, or could it be laxity or lack of sensitization about also really what is happening. Because if you really look at maybe also what is happening, really, somebody may be asking, is it just disobedience or it is lack of sensitization about the law? Because if you really look at what is happening, because really we did see these people being sensitized, according to what URA said, that these people were sensitized. And we also did see them actually being sensitized about the laws, more so about taxation also really. That is why the FARISH system was already introduced before it being also really, maybe before it being introduced, they were also taken through it, but really they did not also really take it serious upon themselves, but rather also really strike against it. And really this is where the people have been complaining about high taxes. This is under the FARISH system, and they rather requested for also really the alternatives of those previous methods through which they used to pay their taxes. And the Kampala City Traders Association have rejected the request by State Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Mr. Christopher Chofatagobia, to reopen their businesses ahead of their meeting with President Museveni today. And over 100 traders are expected to meet President Museveni on, that is, the 19th of April, which is today, to discuss contentious issues related to taxes and other politics, which have been also other policies which have also been affecting the traders countrywide, which led to their close of their businesses. And this is something we shall be able to see today. And really, while addressing a section of the traders and their leaders in Kampala on April 17th, Mr. Chofatagobia on Kampala on April 17th assured that the President had given them maybe also really a green light to also really meet with him there. And that is one thing also really we did see these people also really not abiding by what they said. And really we want to see also really maybe how this meeting will end, but I must assure you this is something that we shall be able to follow up on and let you know maybe what exactly could be resulting from that meeting in there. Really, we shall be maybe keeping you updated tomorrow of what maybe transpires in that meeting, but really we expect a lot. We expect these traders also really to put out their grievances, because with the high taxes, this burden goes back to the final consumers. And when I talk about the final consumers, it could be you, the viewer, who is going to buy a bag, who is going to buy maybe a pen, who is going to buy a book. All of you will be able to feel the pinch of high taxes, and that is why these people also really need to resolve. And maybe if government is at all to reduce on the taxes, that would also really be a very, very good one for them there. And although the ministers had in his earlier submission attracted the attention of the traders, as he promised to address their concerns, including the release of some of their leaders who were arrested during the strike, and rescuing their containers that had been attacked, that had been attacked at URA for about 3 months, also over penalties imposed on them. Tempers flared when he attempted to convince them to resume work. These are things that really these people did not go on well with, and for them they want their concerns to first be addressed before they resume work, and that is why these people are also really maybe echoing out their grievances. And really Mr. John Kabanda, the president of Federation of Uganda Traders Association, also concurred with the dozens of traders who are again also really the minister's speech there, and that is one thing also we want to see happening. However, Mr. Chova said concerned about the issues will be addressed by the president. This is also really where we are going to be seeing that meeting taking place today, and really we expect a lot also really to be maybe coming out of that meeting there. I don't know what you are thinking as a viewer, but really I don't know, you can also really share your opinions with us on what you really think this meeting also needs to bring out, because this meeting between the head of the state and the leaders of the traders is very, very much important, and this is also going to shape things, and this is also going to make things turn around, if at all it is going to work out for the betterment of the country at large, because traders both indirectly and directly touch our lives, where we're seeing a number of people being rendered jobless within this period. Because if you really look at some of the people who have been working as brokers, I must assure you during this period of the strikes, they have not been earning a lot of money for themselves. And then what about the exports? Because if you look at our goods, most of them actually find themselves, that is, into the neighboring country of, that is, DRC and South Sudan. This is in the Western Sub-region, not also in Western Sub-region alone. Other parts of also really maybe Mbarara, Western also really have been also really supplying the areas there with the goods that come from the country. And really I believe with the, maybe with the strike against the taxes, these have not also really been yielding a lot of money. And yesterday we did also see strikes, that is by city traders in Arua City, and these were engaged in running battles with security operatives of the implementation of the trade order. And recently we did see Arua City Council carrying out that some days to also really sensitize the traders, the vendors, about also really street vending, and where they did ask them to actually move into some of the gazetted market areas, for instance the Arua Main Market, Gaga Textile Market, and also really Club Market and other gazetted areas, for instance in Zambia, where these have actually been recognized as markets. But really this board did not also take the initiative of moving into these markets. But yesterday we were able to also really talk to some of the traders, where their concern was in relation to the implementation of the law. Most of them actually said when they were implementing the laws, they left some areas, and that is why the traders actually resorted to demolishing all the structures within the city center, where those whose structures were not demolished, these people resorted to demolishing these makeshift structures by themselves, and where they said everybody now must go into the market. This law needs to be non-discriminative, and for them this was actually a law that was being implemented in disguise maybe of discrimination, and this favored some people, and really I do not know what that means, but to them this was not real, and that is why they resorted to also demolishing the structures of other people whose makeshift structures remained untouched. And that is why we also say we want to see the law being implemented fairly, if at all what this was said is true. But I must also really believe that this may not be the case, but really that is what the traders said. Maybe if you can be able to get the video of how these people were also seen also running battles with the security operatives, where we didn't see a heavy deployment, where also a number of them were actually arrested by police and other security operatives, inclusive of, that is, the Uganda Post Defense Forces, who were deployed heavily on ground. to also really address and calm the situation. But really what we did see is actually we did see the structures being left on the streets until vehicles of our city council had to come and impound and also really take over these structures, these wooden structures that we are used for making these makeshift structures on the streets. But really what we did also see on the main market is, if you move upward, there was no business really. There was nobody doing business from up. That means, I don't know what that means, but when I was able to interact with some of the traders who were actually up there moving around, they did tell us that they did make allocations, but really they did also tell them that they were going to make allocations, but up to now no allocation has been made. That is why people are shunning the main facility up and resort to that street vending. And really that is something also we need to understand if at all we are to move away from street vending, because the rules that surround the rural main market have not yet been resolved. To me, this is a clear indication that the wars are still continuing, but who exactly is supposed to solve these issues? Because really, recently we did see the Minister for Local Government, that is Mr. Rafael Magezi, who was actually in a rural city here to also really address issues related to the traders' concerns. For instance, the issue about street vending and the rural main market and the taxi park sagas. But up to now, what we are seeing at the rural main market is that people have not embraced the facility, and that means that also the traders themselves also need to maybe sit down and address these issues, because the city council is actually where they are putting their blames. And really the city council also need to come out clearly and tell us that they did make, because we did see at least the formation of an allocation committee that was there to champion allocation of these stalls, because what the minister said, and in his directive, he actually said the system and the whole process needs to be carried out afresh. But up to now, we have never seen that, and we have not seen people embracing the main facility. And really, if you move upward in the second floor, in the first floor, you will realize that people are not there. People are really mostly in the first floor, but really when you move up, nothing is happening there. That means that people are not embracing the facility, and it means that people need to also really come out and sensitize the people about the need to embrace and work from this facility. Let's first look at the video of how these people were engaged in running battles as we come back shortly.
Street vendors in Arua City were on 18th of April 2024 engaged in serious running battles with security agencies following the demonstrations over the implementation of the trade order, which seeks to bring order among the business community through curbing street vending and other unacceptable practices. These riots emerged after the stores of the street vendors were destroyed by unknown people in the previous night, encouraging the traders to cause destruction within the city center, demonstrating against the dismantling of their stalls. The angry street vendors, who turned for work to only find their stall destroyed, resorted to demolishing those whose stalls survived, affecting streets along the Market Lane, Lobida, Teregu House, among others. Obinto Jackson, a vendor dealing in eggs, attributes the rift between the vendors and security agencies to discrimination in the implementation of the law.
I think the genesis of this issue here, we appreciate the government's effort, and then we appreciate the council's effort to make the city clean. But I think the parameters to make the city clean, they very well know. But I think the genesis of this issue today is the non-application, the application of the law. This law has been applied not uniformly. If you observe, these things were destroyed, yes, without our consent, but other people's things were left. For example, if you go to former Terego House, things which are around there which are sold by people who believe they are from other places. Then things around Kuku, these things are not destroyed. These things are left intact. So when these vendors they came in the morning, when they found that their friends, other friends, their things are not destroyed, it has sparked reactions in them. That's what brought all this. And then they went there, they have to take law into their hands to destroy all these things. So I would say that when they apply law, let them apply law informally. Me, I believe if they destroy those things all together informally, these things will not happen. These ones will come, they'll find everything destroyed, they'll keep quiet, they will not come and clean it for. So I will say that next time, let government apply the law informally.
Ahimud Dramani, another vendor dealing in carpets, says much as the city council reached out to them asking them to move to the main market, the reluctance to obey the call is as a result of the size of the stalls, which is unsuitable for their businesses.
But since we are now selling carpets, last time this event, the city council, they came to us that we should go inside the market. Since we see the markets, if you see the pictures which they have divided people, they are just very small. But we who are selling carpets, whenever you open a carpet like this, a carpet sometimes takes 30 by 30 meters, the others which goes by 3 by 6 meters. So we cannot open the carpets inside the market. So unfortunately, at night when it was raining, we catch a call that they are dismantling our items. In the morning when we came here, we got everything were down. That's why you see all around here, people are just moving around. Nowadays, today, there's no business. And it is also, this is what government is not knowing. It is also affecting the government in terms of tax collection.
Meanwhile, Senior Superintendent of Police Josephine Angucha, the Public Relations Officer for West Nile, says the operation by security is to implement the call against street vending in Arua City.
It's true that our officers attached to Arua Central Business Division Police Station have moved together with other security forces to town, trying to quell demonstration, unlawful demonstration by market vendors of Arua City. And this really came up as a result of recent directives and recent operations by Arua City authorities that they didn't want market vendors to operate anywhere on the streets, but they should move to gazetted markets.
However, Deborah Ronald, the chairman of Arua City Chamber of Commerce, raised concern over the mode of implementation.
Actually, people they were displacing chamber members. So basically, as the members of Chamber of Commerce, we were concerned about the medical enforcement. We said we need more sensitization, because you cannot, this could be like that since independence. You can't educate them within 10 days without showing them where to go, without giving them alternatives, but you force them out of the streets. And also, the enforcement was done at night. Many people have lost property because people sell things and leave them there.
The city authority had requested the street vendors to move to gazetted facilities such as Arua Central Market, Gaga Textile Market, Social Center Market.
Right, welcome back. That is the pleas and the views of the people who are involved as stakeholders. We did see also police also speaking about the same issue, where we also had the traders also really raising their concern, not forgetting the Chamber of Commerce. That is the chairperson of the people who are responsible for doing business within the city council, also as well echoing out his voice on the same matter. But really the question now is also really posed back to you, who is the viewer. You can also really share us with us your opinion. Is it also really a case of defiance, or that it is just inadequate sensitization is the question now we want to pose to you as the viewer. You can share your opinions, because if you really look at what is happening, the traders said they were not also able to also sensitize enough, and they were not giving much time. And really also really that's what we want to think about it, because much as the city council claims that these people were taken through the sensitization bit of it, they did not respond to what maybe they were being told. Now that is why we want to ask the question, is it a case of defiance, or it is inadequate sensitization about the trade order? You can share your opinions with us as the viewer, and we shall be able to really share with the rest of the people. And really that is why it is very, very much important for you to also really always share your comments with us, and we shall be able to really respect and go through it definitely in the second hour of the show. But for now, let's first continue with the discussions, and really in related that is to business. You realize that these traders are also really struggling to put food on the table, and really that is why we also need to respect their human rights. These are things that we need to respect, though as much as we need, that is also really much as we need order within the city center, where we don't want to see street vending, because street vending makes the place very, very much littered. And really you would see that also really our city looks very bad, because they were comparing our city to the rest of the cities. For instance, Gulu, we are comparing our city to ourselves to Mbarara. We want to see Arua looking like Lira. We want to see Arua shining just beyond Kampala. But really, if at all we are to also see cases of street vending, where majority of our youth who would also really maybe be involved in drug abuse or theft are very, very much engaged in. These are things that we need to look out for, because these are people who are really struggling to see that they earn something for themselves, and these are people who may also really be employed by others, as that also really they can be kept very, very busy within towns. And really, if we continue demolishing their structures without also really maybe finding where to take them next, that would also really be, maybe have its own negative repercussions, but that entirely lies into your hands as the viewer. You can share your opinions with us and let us know what exactly could be causing this. Is it a case of defiance, or simply it is lack of enough sensitization, as the leaders claim? Drop your comments there and we shall be able to go through them in the next hour of the show. But as we continue with the show, still within Arua City, and now let's connect to Dramachaku, really where there's mystery happening, and really this is something also really that had never happened in that area. And I also want to remind that this is something that in my entire life I'd never heard of, for a house just to get maybe set ablaze just without anybody setting it up, maybe on fire. Really, this is what is happening in Arua City in the ends of Dramachaku. But so many people have also really said different opinions about the same issue, as we await to also really see maybe who they exactly is behind these fires. Also really will be able to say, but really rumor has it that something that really happened in that area is that some people in that area had also at one time eaten somebody's money, who actually left that area and went back to Congo, and now the person is actually the one revenging with what we are seeing in Dramachaku, where a house just catches fire without anybody also really maybe setting it ablaze in there, and that is how mysterious the issue is. We did also see police responding on the same matter, where police said this is a matter that is out of their hand. It is a matter which is very mysterious, where they actually need somebody, whoever has information about the same issue, and needs to respond and also really help police. That is in its investigation on how to address the matter. But really yesterday we did see more houses catching fire, and we also been told that the man gave a deadline, and really that is as far as sad it is. And these people need to reunite maybe and recollect back the man's money. Other than that, we may also really see very, very much dangerous situations happening in there on Dramachaku. But really, I must also really assure you that more houses caught fire yesterday, and really today we shall be running to the scene and see what exactly could be happening in there, and maybe how best we could also really help in addressing the situation. But really what we are saying is that it is a mysterious issue where nobody puts fire on the house. The house just catch fire like that. This is as mysterious how mysterious it is. And this is scaring so many people, and more houses are expected to get burned, because maybe also more people ate the monies. And we have been told also people who do not eat this money, their houses are safe. But whoever ate the money, their houses are catching fire. And really this is something we are saying is happening in there. And so many people have been saying several things, and really in that area there's something that was known as Mua. Could it be the one? Because really that is the kind of witchcraft that we always knew out of Machaku and other areas for. Could it be also the one that maybe, because it could be the one because that area is known for that thing, and really so many people are now scared about the same issue, because if you really look at what is happening, maybe in the neighboring parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo, these are issues that have often been raised in relation to the issue of what they call Mua, which is actually what we call the witchcraft that comes from the neighboring parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And people who have actually been very, very much engaged into that are the people who live around the borders, that is the borders of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Dramachaku and the neighboring areas. And really, could it be Mua now revenging against the people is the question also really now we want to ask ourselves, because what is really happening is not a joke. Really, it is also something that is very, very much dangerous. And very soon, we may also see people now rushing out to Ministry of Disaster and Preparedness, that is for maybe rescue, because their houses are getting burned. And really, we may also see many people running away from that area. But really, we want to say, let the elders sit down and draw answers to this matter very, very fast, other than that we do not see more houses also really being burnt in there, and that would also really maybe also address the situation of what we are talking about in this morning. And really, let's move on with the discussions. Let's now move in security away from West Nile sub-region to the national story. SFC soldier jailed for life for aggravated robbery is another story that we are seeing on the papers this morning. And really, this is something that we are seeing also in crime, and really that is one thing I must also remind you of. Maybe if you are somebody who is involved using the gun, we do not expect you also ironically to also really turn against us, because really if you turn against us, then that is definitely against the laws. It is against the oath that you saw. Maybe that is why also really people need to also really be serious with their jobs, other than also really wanting to also really maybe harm us. We expect you to provide security to us. And the military court has convicted that is Special Forces Command soldier of murder and handed him over for life sentence, and that is what we are seeing on the papers this morning. And Private Julius Eche, number RA/23928 SFC's 3rd Forward Airborne Regiment, will also serve 40 years in jail for aggravated robbery in that case. Then the sentences will be served concurrently, and Eche was found guilty of fatally shooting Isaac Kokoliriko, a 19-year-old, and injuring 2 others on December 26th of 2023. And this is something also really we are seeing on the papers this morning. And the 01 Special Forces Group Division court-martial sitting in Lorota in Oyam District also convicted a chair of robbing a hardware shop belonging to, that is, Robert Obote, of stealing 65,000 during the crime that happened after he absconded from his guard duties. And that is also really something we are seeing on the papers this morning. But really that's because of 65,000. You are finding yourself into life jail. That is really how far, maybe how bad it is. But what does this show? Could it be that maybe these people are not appreciative of the salaries that they're earning? Much as recently we did see also really UPDF also really and other security agencies coming out showing and how they are going to be having increment that is for the soldiers. But really, what does this mean? That is the question also really we should be asking ourselves out there. Could it be the welfare of maybe these security agencies is not well? That is the question. Maybe you as a viewer could help us maybe explain exactly what could be happening. But really I must assure you, the court chaired by that is Lieutenant Colonel Moses Ndabasa also found Eche guilty of murder of Okola, a civilian from Olangit S village in that is Ogwete sub-county, that is who succumbed to bullet wounds and sustained, that is after shooting, that was from the shooting by this same man we're talking about. An innocent Obol, a border rider, and Emmanuel Okelo, a UPDF soldier attached to Air Force Base, that is at Naka Songola, who was just passing by, was also injured in the post-robbery shooting in there. And really that is how far bad these crimes were committed. And the chair had denied the charges, but prosecution led by that is Lieutenant David Basima lined up 18 witnesses, 9 of them pinning the suspect to the crime. And that is why this man was actually sentenced to death, maybe life imprisonment. And the chair's final name was presented by Emmanuel Chibuka, a ballistic expert from Government Analytic Laboratory, that's in Wandegea, a Kampasa who told court that sitting in Loro sub-county in Oyam District, the cartridge alignments were consistent with those of the rifle used in the crime. And this is maybe also really how people need to desist from tendencies of misusing the gun against us, because most of the times we have seen these people who hold the guns also really turning very, very much rowdy and also really against people whom we expect them to protect. And that is how far unfair it is and how bad it can be also really with what we are talking about. But really we want to call upon now each and everybody, more so those who are also really responsible for taking care of us. These are people who have the guns, be it a security guard, be it a police officer, be it a prisons officer, be it a UPDF officer, also really maybe also really be a CID. So long as you are holding a gun, maybe also somewhere, we expect you to protect us. We do not expect you to also turn against us. Where we're seeing you also really now robbing the public, trust me, the public is going to lose trust in that system. And that is why people are now asking questions also really what could have happened as to maybe as far as that case is concerned. And really that is maybe also really something we need to talk about. And as we are continuing to talk about accident cases, really accidents are really on the rise, both also in the different, all the different maybe modes of transport what you're talking about. Because recently we were talking about accidents that fell on water, that was water system. And yesterday we were also really seeing an accident that was involving a plane, and this is a helicopter. And just a day before yesterday, we did see an accident that was along Entebbe, around also really where we did see a concrete mixer falling on one of the vehicles in a traffic jam, and this actually killed one. And this is a university lecturer of Uganda Christian University, who is also really a husband to one of the magistrates, also really, that is as far as the issues of accidents are concerned. And recently, where we did also see a number of our students involved in accident, and this is on the same road of Entebbe, where we did see 6 students of, that is Buganda Royal University, who were involved in an accident as they were on their way to Entebbe for a party, and 4 of those were actually pronounced dead, as the 2 are still in hospital. And this is according to information we are getting, as they are still nursing serious wounds in there. But really want to say maybe we need prayers, because we need national prayers. We are talking about these accidents that are on the rise. And recently the police crime report did indicate that there was a rise that was in the crime report of 2022 compared to 2023. And now coupled with what we are seeing, what is currently happening, and we are not yet also really towards the end of the year, where usually we see a number of accidents. We are just heading into the middle of the year, but really we are now registering so many accident cases. And what does the future hold for us? Because usually we tend to see a number of accidents happening towards the end of the year, but what we are seeing right now is that accidents are happening in the middle of the year, and at the beginning of the year we also did see a number of accidents being registered. And what will this also really indicate? Maybe at the end of the day also, when we are going to be seeing the police crime report that is in relation to accidents and also really other cases there. But really I want to assure you, let's be vigilant, let's be cautious, or while we're on these roads, while we're also maybe on water, we also need to ensure that we wear the protective gears, and other than that we may also lose our lives. And for those who are using borders, please let's ensure that we carry on the helmets, and for our children who are moving to school, because really as I was coming to work in the morning, I was able to see a number of children on borders, and really these are all without helmets. And really I want to call upon parents now to buy helmets for their children, and other than that we may also really see them getting involved in accidents. That is something we're not praying for, but accidents are, as usual, sudden, maybe unexpected things, and these are things that could happen anytime. But really to ensure protection is always good in terms of also regarding our lives from these accidents. That would be very, very good. And recently we did see also police passing out a report where the children need to move with an adult on these borders, but what we did see on the morning is that most of the children are actually moving on the borders by themselves, and there's no parent accompanying them. And really if you look at what also really happened in the police crime report, you will realize that a number of children and border riders were also as well killed on the accidents, and that shows why we need helmets for our children. And really I want to call upon now each and everybody to ensure that they buy helmets for their children, because if they do not buy the helmets, we may also really see our children maybe getting involved in these accidents, and which would also really not be very, very well for them in there. And really yesterday we also did see the shocking death also of 10 people involved in a helicopter crash, and one of them is actually the chief of the military in Kenya. And this is also really something we did see yesterday. We pray and mourn with the people of Kenya, as we pray also the souls for the souls of the departed to rest in eternal peace there. And Kenya's military chief, that is General Francis Ogola, was among the 10 people killed when their military helicopter crashed. That is crashed shortly after takeoff, that is on Thursday, and President William Ruto pronounced this. And this is something also we did see yesterday, because as of yesterday at least 6 people were pronounced dead, and really the confirmation of that is the military chief came later on. And the aircraft which had been on visit, that is to troops deployed in northwestern Kenya to combat the endemic cattle rustling, came down just minutes after leaving Cheptuel Boys Secondary School in West Pokot County. And this is according to information we did receive from Ruto in there. And the soldiers survived. Two soldiers survived the crash, and we are in hospital. And he said, adding that an investigation team had been sent to discover the cause of the plane crash there. And that is something also we did see happening yesterday. And Ogola was previously the head of, that is the Kenya Air Force, before rising deputy military chief, and then being promoted to Ruto by Ruto last year to head the military there. And that is maybe as sad as it is. And Ogola joined the Kenya Defense Forces, that is 1984, where he trained as a fighter pilot with United States Air Force and as an instructor pilot at the Kenya Air Force, also in there. And according to Defense Ministry profile, when promoting Ogola on the top military job a year ago, Ruto accused him also of being part of the plot to overturn the results of 2022 presidential election, but said he was the best qualified person for the job. And this is maybe also something people do not know about. Maybe the gentleman that we are talking about, and dozens of civilians and police air force have been also killed in the unrest in the northwest area there. And at least 10 soldiers were killed in June 2021 when the helicopter crashed while landing near the capital. And that is also really something we are seeing on the papers this morning. And really we also want to pray for the souls of the departed to rest in eternal peace. And meanwhile for the relatives, we pray that also really may the Almighty comfort you during the trial moments, because these are breadwinners, these are people whom I believe have their own families, these are people whom I believe have been supporting others, but now they are gone. Maybe God could also really open other ways, because once somebody or maybe of this caliber dies, usually we see a number of people who have been maybe both directly and indirectly benefiting from them also really suffering a lot. And really that is why we want to say also, may their souls rest in eternal peace, and let also really God give you courage in these trial moments, as that is also really something that we also need to remind you of this early morning as we continue with the show. And this is still a Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV, and our final destination will be the hour of 9 o'clock. And after 9 o'clock, the news bulletin in Lubarati will be coming through. That is with Mukulia Lawrence, and thereafter other programs. For instance, the Lubara Mabi will also be coming through, and not forgetting Street Talk and other programs that will also really follow in the due course of the day. And remember, the news bulletins will also really be here, the Eolazad, the Lembangea for the Lulu speakers, and the Nilecast in English will also really be coming through. That is from the hour of 7 p.m. and that is why you also need to be part of the discussions and really what is happening in here as far as the issue that we are discussing is concerned. As we continue with the show, woman dumps baby in pit latrine after getting new lover. That is why we always say fear women, fear women, fear women, and that is why also really it is very, very much important for us to be talking about. But really, why would you dump a baby whom you carried for 9 months just for a man whose fate you don't know? Maybe that is why also this is happening. But really, I believe this could also be as a result of maybe this woman not wanting this man to know that he has a baby, because today you know that most of the women are actually maybe also lying to their husbands or spouses or lovers about their pregnancies, first of all, and also about their statuses of also really having children. But really, why would you hide? Maybe why would you lie to me about you carrying a child? That is how unfair it is. If you have a baby, maybe 1 or 2, tell me, because I love you. If I come to you and propose to you that I'm into you, it means that I love you with everything. And if I mean everything, I mean also really with the children that you are carrying. But really today, you know that most of these girls also really sometimes also maybe get pregnant to people whom they don't love, and maybe people don't love them. But at the end of the day, when they get the right people, they start regretting why they actually produced, and that is maybe as far as sad as it is, and that is something also we did see happening. And really, maybe if I can be able to give you the details of where this happened, but really what we say is that we must fear women, and this is also really something that we also really want to say. I'm not also pinning women, I'm not being also in support of men, but really what I'm saying is that that is also really what we are seeing on the paper this morning. And police in Kayunga district on Thursday are forced to fire live bullets in air to disperse a mob that was baying for a blight, that's of a 19-year-old woman, for allegedly dumping her newly born baby in a pit latrine that is in Toke sub-county. Kayunga Town Council and Mr. Isa Katongo, the officer in charge of Kayunga Police Station, said the suspect, only identified as Millie Mutonyi, who was by last month had 8-month pregnancy, fell in love with a new lover after the man who impregnated her denied responsibility of the pregnancy. And really that is also really as far as it is. Men, sometimes we also really make these women go through a lot. You, when you are really doing it, first of all, when you're impregnating it, you are not also really minding of that you want a baby. But after, maybe when it comes to a baby, we start running away. That is how far and how bad it is. And he has admitted that the police Mutonyi decided to conceal the pregnancy from her new lover, who thought she would not marry her if he found out that she is expecting, and that is what exactly I did say here. But really, why would you deny about pregnancy? And I must also say that this is something that is happening where today, where we're also seeing cases of, that is the DNA results also really also separate many parents and many families, and that is why we're also talking about issues of trust. Be open, because this is where in most cases, we are seeing people rushing out for DNA, because after marrying somebody, you expect that this is your child. The ladies will always know that they will always know about the right person, the right owner of the baby, but they will not maybe speak out because of fear for responsibility. And that is why also really people are now carrying children that don't belong to them. In most cases, we are seeing this happening because most of the children, some people may be carrying out are not theirs. And this is why men also need to be serious with the people whom they are marrying, because if if somebody comes and tells you that this is my baby, really I want to first of all see the child maybe resemble me, but it also sometimes it becomes very, very much ironic where the child starts resembling the ex. That is how far maybe unfair it is. But Mutonyi's new lover, Mr. Alex Senyonjo, early this month rented a house that is for her, that's in Toke village, where the two have been living together. And the Mutonyi is said to have dropped out of school, that is in Chitimbo High School, where she was a senior 4 candidate after getting pregnant. As she later also really went to live with an identified friend that is in Busale village in Kayunga sub-county, where she met Senyonjo, a taxi driver who is actually the new lover. And Mr. Senyonjo also did not know about this pregnancy, and that is how far, maybe how dangerous women can conceal. Somebody can really keep a secret and tell you that this child is yours. And that is how some people do it. This is my, baby, I'm pregnant for you. Baby, do this. These are things that really some people are suffering through, yet the responsibility they're carrying is not theirs. And really that is how far maybe what caused this issue. And Mr. Sanyondo said she successfully managed to conceal the pregnancy from him all the time where they have been together. And this is maybe how dangerous women can also keep secrets. He said he left Mutonyi at home early in the morning to go to work, but later received calls or distress from one of the neighbors that she had given birth to a baby boy and dumped him in the pit latrine. And this is something also that we are seeing on the paper this morning. What if this was your only child? This is where people who really do abortions need to be very, very much mindful of, because sometimes we see people doing this, but really at the end of the day, they also really lack children now, and they start regretting, and they start visiting these shrines, they start visiting these pastors, maybe also really praying for them to get children, and yet when God also really blessed you with one, maybe this could be your only child, but really you are dumping that child. This is why people need to desist from tendencies of so this. If the man doesn't love you, who tells that this is your last man? Maybe that man who dumped you could come back because of this child. And this is where people also need to be mindful. And Mr. Sekotonya said the suspect's old friend was rushed to his home, and he informed him that Mutonyi had delivered a baby boy and dumped it in a pit latrine. And this is something also we did see happening in there. And the S1 boss said he had to lock the suspect in her room to save her from mob that wanted to lynch her. And this is something also we did see happening in there. And the baby boy was retrieved alive and rushed to Kayunga Regional Referral Hospital for treatment, while the suspect was arrested and wished that is Kayunga Police Station amid tight security. And the police also had to fire bullets in the air to disperse the angry mob that was buying also really for Mutonyi's body to be also killed in there. But really we also want to commend police for that fast rescue in terms of maybe retrieving that newly born baby. But really we also pray for the doctors to also really do their best, such that also this baby does not die, but really this woman will also really maybe face the wrath of the courts of law. And that is maybe what happened. And Ms. Mutonyi told journalists that she had decided to kill the baby because she feared her new lover would not marry her if at all she got to know that she was pregnant. And this is something also we did see happening in there. But as a man, really, you have been with this woman for quite weeks. Couldn't you realize that this woman was pregnant? And this is the question also really men need to also be mindful of, maybe before they approach these people that they want to be in love with. And Mr. Katonga said investigation to the incident, we are still ongoing, adding that the suspect will be charged with attempted murder, and also really what is happening there. And Miss Helen Alikoba, the Kayunga police officer in charge of family and child protection, advised women to always seek advice from authorities and also professional counselors whenever they get such challenges. And that is what we are also really telling you. In case you are pregnant, rush out to your people, rush out to your aunties, be open, be transparent, do not also really conceal these issues, and that would also really maybe save you. And really with that we come to the first break of the first hour, as we bounce back in the second hour with more as we have prepared also really for you here. And remember, we have both stories, that is from national and also really what is happening within Western sub-region, and we shall also really do some tackling of what is happening maybe in the world of sports. And yesterday we did also see our neighbors Liverpool being knocked out. I will be also maybe letting you know of that result, and really stay tuned to West Kokoliriko live show as we bounce back shortly from the commercial break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial breather. We are back into our second hour of the show, which is our final hour. And remember, in the first hour, we did discuss a number of issues, also really what maybe happened in the business world, where we are seeing our traders rioting and striking over the taxes that we are talking about. And as we now start off our discussion in the second hour, and really I want to welcome you on board from wherever you are, so really maybe watching us from, and really this is why we also really need to remind you of what could have happened in the first hour. And remember, we did summarize the first hour with a story of a woman who dumped the baby, also a newborn baby, in the pit latrine over finding a new lover. And that is how far maybe how bad it is. And really, as we now come back into our second discussions, also second discussion in the second hour, and really you two also really can still be part of the show. And really, I want to now welcome you on board in a special way as we begin off the discussions in our second hour, as we also really are here now. And remember, so many issues have been happening, that is from Western sub-region, and really if I can briefly maybe also let you know of, as so many celebrations are now going on. But really before we get to that, Parliament rejects proposal to merge NFA. That is also really another story we are seeing on the part this morning. And remember, efforts have been made by the government also really to merge a number of these agencies, and really so many of these agencies have been affected, and among the agencies that have been affected is actually UNRA and Ministry of Transport and Works, which have also been called upon to be merged together. And NFA also we also did see NFA also being wanted to be merged there, but now parliamentarians have rejected the proposal also for the merger of NFA. Is also another story that we are seeing in the post this morning. But really, these efforts are also really supposed to also address the issues of that is how government is also spending monies into several agencies, but which are doing this more or less the same thing, and that is why people also need to also see to either taxpayers' money is protected, but this is also going to come with its own negative repercussions. And Parliament on Thursday rejected the National Forestry and Tree Planting Amendment Bill of 2024, which is also really a government proposal to merge that is a National Forest Authority with its mother Ministry of Water and Environment, and also that is also something we are seeing on the past morning. And the recommendation to maintain the authority as a semi-autonomous entity was made by the House Committee on Environment and Natural Resources through its report to House, and the committee was seconded by almost the entire House, with legislators arguing that NFA plays a critical role in protecting the environment and mitigating effects of climate change. And this is something also we are seeing on the past this morning. And the committee reported that the ministry responsible for environment should stick to its core mandate of policy formulation and establishment of standards and resource mobilization also really in there, and that is also really something we are seeing on the past this morning. And also really we are seeing Emmanuel Otala reveal that members observed that NFA was still sorting out the encroachment problems and licensing of investment, also new investments in the forestry sector. And this is also something we are seeing on the past this morning. And the same House also argued that there may not be significant economic gains in the short and medium term arising out of the mainstreaming of NFA into the ministry, and that is also something we are seeing. And what do you think about the merger of NFA to Ministry of Environment and Water? You also really could be having your own opinion, but really to share your opinions is also really highly welcomed. You can just do it that quickly, maybe by dropping your comment on the comment section. For those of you watching us via Facebook, feel free to drop your comment there. For those of you streaming us live on YouTube, you too also can still also drop your comment there, and we shall be able to go through them. And the committee report was backed by a new number of legislators, including Kefa Chiwanuka, Muhammad Sereko, Christine Kaya, Alex Biarugaba, Bosco Kiror, Dennis Oguzu, Ojara Mapenduzi, Martin Mapenduzi, and David Kabanda, among others. However, the Minister of Water and Environment, Ms. Beatrice Anyua, unsuccessfully defended the government proposal to dissolve an NFA, explaining that NFA will continue to ably perform its functions despite also despite the efforts for the merger, and that is something we are seeing on the past this morning. And really, I don't know what you think about also what we are discussing, and really how best maybe we could also really help implement that. But really, we want to see a merger of these government several entities so that we also really avoid taxpayers' money being wasted, because today we are wasting a lot of monies into people who are doing the same things and more or less the same thing. Look at what is happening today. We have so many entities. I will not want to mention them because government is now trying to merge them, but all these are really doing the same thing. And really today, look at what is happening within the power sector. We have all these companies that are doing the same thing, and really that could also be maybe affecting quite a kind of service delivery. And really, if you look at maybe how this, if you compare what is happening with power compared to water, you realize national water is doing the same, is just doing what is expected out of them, and countrywide we are seeing national water, and that is why the money that this company is bringing to government is so much alarming. It's really quite huge, and it's doing well. And really, I believe also if other entities were supposed to act as sole, just like what we are seeing with national water, this would also be very, very good. And really, that is what I really want to also say. We need to also ensure that this merger is quick, because we are seeing a lot of taxpayers' money are being wasted and putting resources that is for different entities that are almost doing the same thing. And really, I believe the merger is really a good one, and which we need to embrace. And I believe, if at all that is also really fully implemented, that is also really something that we should also really be proud of, and we need to support. And moving away from that now, let's head into Buganda, where the Premier of Buganda Kingdom, Charles Peter Maiga, has tasked the newly appointed chiefs at all levels to promote and protect the key aspirations that is of Buganda Kingdom in there. And that is something we are seeing on the path this morning. And he also noted that sometimes people age also really make mistakes, and therefore there is need for new energy. But overall significance of the changes in the agencies is to ensure that they continue with their works undisrupted there. And that is also something we also want to see happening in there. And early this week, the Kingdom's Information Minister, that is Israel Kazembe Chitoke, announced the changes which were made by the Kabaka a few days after celebrating his 69th birthday in his absence. And the changes were made from the country's chiefs to the village chiefs. Also, really, that is also something we are seeing right from the county chiefs, the village chiefs. New changes have been made, and that is also reshuffles have been done, and that really we expect now this to also really do what is expected out of them. And early this week, the Kingdom's Information Minister, that is Israel Kazembe, announced the changes, and really also he said this is also something that is going to be implemented, and really that is also something we are going to be also following up on. Remember, these chiefs have a role to play really in terms of also really steering up affairs of the government, and I want to remind you of that the religious leaders, these chiefs, really hold powers, because sometimes people very, very much listen to them more than any other religious or maybe other leader. That is why it is very, very much important for the government also really at times to work with them. And recently we did see the King of Alur, that is Philip Olakere Obumi III, also really championing, that is also really fight against teenage pregnancy. And recently where we did see them launching also projects, also really support around 600 youths, that is from Madiokolo and also really Zomo district in there. And I really want to say this is something we did see happening, and we appreciate that. This is what we really want to see. We want to see the leaders also really championing in some of the activities that really government could be struggling in. And really I want to say this for all the powers. First of all, the people very, very much listen to them more than any other person, and that is why it is very, very much important for people to also really work with them, and really want to commend each and any other religious leader out there who could be doing what is expected out of them. And really we appreciate them. We do not take their works lightly, but rather we honor what they are doing. And really as we continue with the show, and really so many issues have also really been talked about here and there. But really, as we get to also really summarize the discussions for today, really I want to remind you of so many other issues that could be happening in your absence or in your presence as we continue with the show. And really I want to remind you of now other stories that could be happening in the papers this morning. There was a man found dead after really village court convicted him of also really stealing goat. Is also really another story that we want to see on the papers this morning. And really I want to remind you of, this is quite ironic, and could it be that this man was pinned maybe unfairly, because issues of these people who are being found also really maybe also charged to commit suicide is also really very, very much alarming. And recently we did see the environment officer for our district also really, and also Joachim also committing suicide in there, as the case was also really in court. after people also really accused him of taking money under several projects, that is the Dr. Deep money, which amounted to about 20 million, and really as the man was freed on police bond, only for us to hear about the shocking news of his death in there. And this is something also which was maybe suspected to be suicide. Really, I want to also call upon people now not to do these things, because really, even if you are sentenced to maybe prison, you will still come out and you will still be alive, and that is not the end of the life. And really, why would you commit suicide? And really, why would you take your life over what is happening? Because usually we say you are a suspect until proven guilty, and that is why also people need to do some tendencies, because you are not. Why would you commit suicide really if you are told you know you are not innocent? And that is why unfair and how sad it is. But really, we want to caution people also that some these tendencies of this is what is happening. And really, a 24-year-old man convicted by Court Village of stealing, that is a goat from his neighbor in Lorosab County in Oyam District, has been found hanging dead in his house, and that is also something we are seeing. And Aaron Opio, resident of Omoro A village in Opelere sub-parish, that is said to have stolen a goat that was on Tuesday before slaughtering it, and that is where it is also really very, very much unfortunate for this man, only identified as Aaron Opio, to commit that suicide in there. And he was summoned before the village court, where he reportedly pleaded guilty and accepted to pay, that is shillings 250,000 as a compensation for the owner. After failing to raise the money, he was locked in his house at the home, that is of Omolo Trading Center, that is where the chairman also really said. And this Mr. Tony Bayuda, a resident, that is of, and the resident said Opio escaped at night and hanged himself using the rope that he has also really was using for restraining himself. And that is something really we are seeing on the path this morning, and really that is how quite unfair it is. Mr. Nixon Okwir, the S1 chairman, that's of Omolo village, also said some farmers that stumbled on Opio's body dangling on the tree, also on their way to the gardens on Wednesday, and really he used also really this goat, also this rope also really for strangling himself, and that is how fair and unfair it is. And really want to caution now members of the public to resist from tendencies of such caliber. Really, this is not the way to go, because really farmers were able to dangle onto his body, also really where he had also really committed suicide on the tree there in the garden. And really, instead of really, this is quite unfair, because instead of also really going to commit suicide in the garden, I would really suggest maybe if he had gone to dig the garden, that would be very, very good. And usually this is something also people said about him. And remember, the people there said he was lazy. He was a lazy person who preferred drinking alcohol at the trading center, and really one who wanted not to work. And this is something also we did see people saying about the disease there. But really, once people die, we do not expect also such information to come out, because in our cultures, I've never seen somebody dying, even if it's a bad person. Usually we say we eulogize him as good people. I don't know where we have seen as somebody, even if it's a criminal, maybe was murdered while doing something. People always say good things about him. But really, for people to talk bad things about the dead is usually something which is very, very much uncultured, and something we have never seen also really happen. And text from that Dako police post reportedly visited the scene and recorded that statement from the people on ground before handing over the body to the relatives for burial. And also that is something also we are seeing on the paper this morning. But really, I want to call upon people now to do some tendencies of such caliber. Also, really, that is something that which would also really see maybe people also really maybe realizing what is expected of them, and that would also really be quite good for them. And I really want to say people need to use issues of developing suicidal thoughts, because suicidal thoughts is really doing a lot of harm to the more so among the people. And really, that is something that does summarize our discussions in relation to that. But really, you also really can share your opinions and your views on why people maybe who are presumed to be suspects are committing suicide, and what exactly needs to be done. How can we protect them, and how can we ensure that their lives are safe, other than also leaving them to commit suicide just like that? And that would be very, very unfair for them. And moving on, let's see now what is happening within Alur Kingdom. As the king of Alur Kingdom, that's His Majesty Philip Launo Lake III, has urged all his leaders in Western sub-region to be united, as it has come to his knowledge, that there is disunity among the incumbent leaders and those willing to show their interest to contest, that is in 2026 general elections. And this was revealed during an interview with the king of Alur Kingdom at Karatiek Palace in Zombo district. And that is also really something we want to see, because really, as we head to 2026, we realize that people are now uttering a lot of issues and allegations here and there, where we're seeing the environment getting hot. And these are for the people who are maybe working as incumbents and those who are eyeing the seats. And that is why today we are seeing several entities also really coming out to sensitize the locals about also really their rights and maybe in terms of also really people whom they want to vote ahead of 2026. And recently we did see this meeting heading place in Arevu, where we did see Western Civil Society, Regional Civil Society Network, also really organizing a meeting, also really for the locals, also really to sensitize them about their rights. That is in democracy, and that is also something I want to remind you of. Maybe if you can first of all also connect to Alur Kingdom and see what the leaders in there are saying and what exactly the king's message is. That would also really be very, very good, because usually we say the message from the horse's mouth is the best, and really it is the one that goes direct maybe to the minds. And let's first connect to the king and see what he is saying about also the forthcoming elections, that is of 2026.
The King of Alur Kingdom, His Majesty Philip Rauni Olarke III, has urged all leaders in West Nile region to be in unity in order to achieve their sustainable goals for development. The King was speaking to journalists on Wednesday, 17th April 2024 at his palace in Atiakwinam, Zombo district. According to His Majesty Rauni, it has come to his knowledge that there is disunity among the incumbent leaders and those willing to show their interest to contest in 2026 general elections. Though the official campaign period has not been pronounced, some aspirants in Greater Nebi have started making hate speech against their opponents. Rauni therefore said, as Alur Kingdom, this can promote disunity among his subjects.
Leaders of West Nile about unity. Every leader who is worked there so as a leader knows that in order to achieve real sustainable growth, in order to achieve real development, unity is needed. Right from our partners like the EU to at the local level, if they do not see unity amongst us as West Nilers, all our efforts we are trying to achieve are going to just keep on going. The government is not going to support people who are disunited. Partners are not going to support people who do not want to unite for the common good. Development is not about I, it's about us.
He equally warned parents who use their children as revenue of resources, like giving young girls for marriages, settling defilement cases at home, among others.
Use their children as revenues of resources. Our kids are not revenues of resources. They are our children who should be looked after, given every opportunity to better themselves. Once that is done, our children will look after their parents once they're in a better place. It is not our parents selling their children short or the future generation short for short-term benefits. So as a king, I strongly warn and advise against all parents looking at their children as avengers.
However, Jane Manano, senior nursing officer in the General Hospital, revealed that there is increasing cases of teenage pregnancies, especially in Pakwach district. She also said the pregnancy rate among young girls stand at 23% even after COVID-19.
Juponji ngenya wotimo le manda malo juru nyolu la wishiwi enu chamba juru nyodongo to andebe la wishiwa pirango kita wiya mo amonyote sami corona bedu sama awinju dadi ko wache mite winyi lembe percentage ne bedu mamalo ente ka wone be juik de podinya no etie malasu wote ku 23%.
Reports from police in Greater Nebi indicate that most perpetrators of defilement cases, rape and child marriages are not reported to police for actions, making it hard to apprehend the suspects after they have agreed with the parents of the victims. Alfred Jawok, West Nile TV.
All right, welcome back for that video, and really that is what the king is saying, and really we need to ensure that we are really respecting the rights of others within this period, because much as you are in that seat, or much as you're holding that seat and you still want to retain it, there are people who need it, and that is their right, because it is entirely, we're in a democratic policy, maybe in a democratic state, where the responsibility lies in the hands of the voters, and it is the voters to decide on who exactly they will be choosing to select them, maybe in the forthcoming elections, maybe be it from the LC1 systems, up to the president, maybe members of parliament, and that's one thing we will also really see happening in there. And really I want to question you to this from tendencies of maybe uttering statements that could be ridiculing others, and that is why we need to respect and have freedom for speech. Much as we have freedom of speech, but let's have respect for others, and that is why it is very, very much important. Moving away from that now, let's see what is happening within Arua City. Recently, we did see Bugema University, one of the chartered universities in the country, launching the 75 years with cleaning Arua City, and that is one thing that they will be also conducting in the city. And today, rather, the issue of living in a clean city has entirely been left in the hands of the uneducated, and the middle income is also really not the middle income people are not also really engaged. That is very, very much into also really maybe what we are saying is maybe to protect the environment, and that is why Bugema University also recently also did launch the campaign of maintaining a clean city, and they will also be engaging in a run that is also really going to be happening very, very much soon. And really that is one thing also really, if you can be able to connect to that university and see what exactly they did just a few days ago as they launched the official celebrations, that is in relation to also really the 75-year celebrations. That is also really how far the university is going. That is also really preparing themselves for the 75 years anniversary, which will be going on across all the university's campuses, because the university has also really grown from what it started as. Because you realize the university started as a facility for training pastors and church institutions, but today has grown to establish itself as one of the vibrant, also growing, also really chartered universities, and that is one thing that also really we know the university for, and really want to see also really more universities emerging in Western sub-region, and really that is one thing also really want to remind you of, because once the education sector of the region also really growing, but really if you can maybe connect to that, and that would also really maybe paint for us an image of exactly what really happened in there, that would be quite good.
Stakeholders from Bugema University, together with the Arua City leadership, officially launched the celebrations to mark the 75 years of existence of the university in the country on the 17th of April 2024 at the Mayor's Gardens with the cleaning exercise. As the university marks 75 years, a number of activities have been identified, ranging from giving back to the community through cleaning exercise, marathon from which the proceeds shall go to supporting the development of science complex as the university celebrates the years. Bwambale Godwin, the director of the university's Arua campus, says that the exercise of cleaning, which was officially flagged off by the Arua City leadership on the 17th of April 2024, is a preamble to the official day of the celebrations.
This exercise of cleaning the city is one of the activities, the preamble exercise. But the celebrations, the real celebrations, shall be on 12th of May this year, 12th of May, at OPM ground. We have already requested, our mayor has already allowed that we should celebrate from the OPM ground, because it's enough space that shall accommodate all people of West Nile. I'm expecting very many, the alumni and those students and other supporters.
Amando Alfred, the principal health officer in charge of environment for Arua City, expressed dismay in the way through which some members of the public are neglecting their duty of ensuring a clean environment.
You know, we have left the responsibility of cleaning the city to uneducated people. You educated person, then you throw rubbish, and you want the uneducated to be the one. When you analyze these two, who is more educated and who is not educated? So the uneducated has now become more educated than the educated person.
Hundale Batista John, the guild president of Bugema University Arua campus, is excited as he says that they honor issues related with health sanitation as key at the university.
I am feeling very happy and excited to be part of this team who are doing cleaning around the city. As Bugema University, we as Bugema University are the first people who have come and attempted to clean the city, as the way the mayor said. Even as personal at our university, if you visit there, the health conditions there are very perfect. We are not, we take things concerning sanitation very key and very important. That's why we are very happy, and my team and the students at large, we are very excited to come and take part here.
In Jikuru Millicent Mili, the deputy mayor Arua City lauded the university fraternity for championing and working towards ensuring a clean and safe environment.
It's okay.
We want to appreciate your support as an institution which is trying to mentor the lower primary school and the nursery children, to so that as elders in the university we have to walk the talk to make our city clean, which should go back to our schools, which should go back to our homes. I want to appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Similarly, Angudube Emmanuel, the town clerk 5 division, also doubles as an alumni of the university, also praised the university fraternity for participating in cleaning, since to attain a safe environment calls for collective responsibility.
Mr. Director, I want to thank you and the management of Bugema University for this initiative. This city is for all of us. As a city council, we are struggling to have a clean, smart, and a livable city. As an institution, when you come with such initiatives, we feel so grateful, because this city is not only for the leadership of the city, but for the residents of this city.
Bugema University was established in the year 1949 as an Adventist education institution for training pastors and church workers, but today has grown to establish itself as one of the fully fledged chartered universities in the country, with 4 campuses, namely Luero campus as its main campus, and other campuses in Lira, Arua, Mbali and Kasese districts. Farish Majid, West Nile TV, Nalkas. Well, for us to ensure that we live in a clean and safe environment is our entire responsibility, where we all must cherish the issue of living in a clean environment. That means that for those who are moving on the streets, if you see maybe a bottle being thrown, you have the responsibility of throwing it maybe to where we need to have disposal, maybe spots. But unfortunately, in Arua City, we do not have these garbage disposal spots in our streets. But these dustbins, what we call the dustbins, that is why we may be seeing littering as we are seeing it in Arua City. But really, I want to call now the people maybe who are responsible for establishing these facilities need to be doing so as we come to the final hour of the show. And really, that is also really where we are going to be heading for our final break. And when we bounce back, we shall be having other stories to summarize the day with. And remember, as usual, we summarize our discussions with what is happening in the world of sports. And yesterday we did see some Liverpool fans crying, and this is after they were also knocked out of the champions, also out of the Europa Champions League. Also, that is one thing also really I want to remind you of as we bounce back shortly from the commercial break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are back as we finalize the discussions for today with what is happening in Adjuman district, because we are here to touch all the parts of West Nile sub-region, because we are here as our number one mandate remains, that is to enlighten the region. And that is why when we are talking about stories in West Nile sub-region, we give them priority, because we want also our views to be heard. Because at the end of the day, we want to enlighten the region, and stakeholders in Adjuman district have been called to work together so as to improve that's on the education standards of the people living in the refugees. Because if you really look at what is happening in the refugee settlements, the schools do not only cater for those who are refugees, because the host communities are also really part of the schools that really go on there. And that is why when these agencies are giving out, they give the resources to everybody, not also discriminating of who maybe is supposed to get. This is in terms of being a refugee or as a host community. And Alan Jim also really did receive, maybe also report for that story. If you can be able to also really get to know what happened maybe in Adjuman district and what the stakeholders are saying in relation to this, this would also really be quite good for us to understand of why we need to also ensure that we work together in terms of uplifting the education status of the people living in the settlements.
As education of refugees in settlement areas are still under development, stakeholders have been called upon to work together so as to improve on the education standards of the refugees. During the press briefing at Baraka Junior and Secondary School in Pagrinya settlement camps, the executive director of Baraka Junior and Secondary School, Pastor Taban Felix, calls the district stakeholders to join hands together with the refugees to promote education in settlement camps. Pastor Taban said the war in South Sudan affected education of many young people, especially young mothers and other child-headed families, who most times become disastrous to the community in the future.
They could not go to school, and more especially those children who came alone in the camp, child-headed household kids. These child-headed household kids, their life I realized as a church, we set their life at high risk. If they are not followed and given support, these children as they grow without parental love and anyone's concern, in the future they will be rebellious. They will cause a lot of trouble for people, and they will not value humanity in lives.
Meanwhile, Taban Kemis William, the head teacher Baraka Junior Secondary School, said the school came at the right time considering the overwhelming number of learners in the area and calls for more support to tackle some of the challenges.
And it is also laying hard in supporting Pagirenya SS with the overwhelming number of refugee influx. It was not adequate to have everybody in one center. We thought why it is good to also have sister school established here to accommodate those one who could not access the other school. So we are operating under minimum requirement, and government is taking over. So the fee structure we still have challenges in there. So we need support in improving the enrollment so that students who are left out should also get enrolled in education. Other challenges we face, being to the proximity of the country,
All right, that is it as far as the stakeholders are calling upon people to work together in terms of uplifting the education status of the children in these education camps. That is also really something we want to summarize the discussions with. As usual, what we do is on the show we summarize the discussions with what is happening in the world of sports. And remember, as we are heading into the weekend, so many games also really will be played. That is over the weekend. And yesterday we also did see games being played, and the day before yesterday also really there were a lot of stories that happened in the world of sports. But really the question that we should be asking ourselves this morning is what will be done to Araka Football Club after they failed to honor their fixture against Odramachaku, also really in the regional clash that was supposed to be played in Kowoko, where Araka Football Club, a team from Yumbe district, failed to honor and turn up for the event. Amidst also really Odramachaku turning up for this event, maybe this game that was also really supposed to also really determine, because if you look at what is happening in that zone there, the two teams are actually really trying as much as possible to also really maybe qualify for what they call that's playoffs. But really Araka Football Club failed to honor the fixture, and for reasons they will be able to maybe explain as to why they were not able to play this game, because this was taken to be on a neutral ground where the two teams could also really play after the game was not played, and the game has again been missed. What exactly will be done to the two teams as far as this issue of the game is concerned is also really something we shall be able to let you know of. But moving on to the Startimes Uganda Premier League today, we shall be having a game that is in Masindi Municipal Stadium, that is at 4 p.m. That is between Viper Sports Club and also really Chitara Football Club in there. And this is actually a decider game that will be maybe determining who the champions will be, because recently we did see Chitara Football Club, a team from that is Hoima, playing in Masindi, also really knocking out that is Viper Sports Club in the Uganda Cup tie, where we did see them actually knocking out the team Vipers in sports, maybe in penalties, where we did see also Vipers are threatening to petition the results also really maybe of this game in there. As we await for that result, the pressure will be going on. Sometimes Uganda Premier League just a few days ago, and today they are meeting again. That is at 4 p.m. as Kitara Football Club welcome Masindi, also really Viper Sports Club at Masindi Stadium on Friday in what we call a title decider. And this is also really something that we shall be seeing tonight. The two teams face off again in less than a week after the Uganda Cup quarter-final clash there. And really this is something also we did see. And at the top of the table, at the moment, with 44 points, the Royals will open 8 points gap between them and the third place in Vipers Football Club. If they win tonight's game, that will be also to their advantage. However, the defeat will see them dislodge that from the top spot, which will lead them maybe start in the second round, and that is also really something we are seeing, and we want to maybe see how this game will be going on. And if you look at Chitara, Dennis Omedi, Judy Semugabi, and Brian Ahebo have been on form this season, and really that is also really something we are going to be seeing. Meanwhile, Richard Washua are net also really at both ends of the pitch, as they defeat also really could see them maybe lose the title race. And Unisenta Mwala and Okelo Moses Waiswa played well on Sunday, and will probably also really maybe seek to prove that the same performance on today's game, and really we shall be able to really also let you know about that game later on, and maybe on Monday. And really we did see also so many games being played yesterday in the world of English football, and really where we did see also really many games being played. And really if I can maybe briefly sample some of the games that did go on yesterday, we did see Liverpool also really losing out, that is to Atalanta by a goal to nil. We also did see Marseille losing out to Benfica, also really winning against Benfica a goal to nil. Roma also did win, that is AC Milan 2-1. Bayern Leverkusen also really drew with West Ham United 1-1. Also that is also something we did see there, as Bayern Leverkusen proceeds to the next level on aggregates. Meanwhile, also in UEFA Conference League, we also did see game that was between Fiorentina, meanwhile against that is Victoria Pleasant. Also the game ended 2-1. Meanwhile, these are the games that really briefly if I can be able to maybe sample for you that did take place yesterday. And tomorrow, it being a weekend, also really we shall be seeing the English Premier League returning with more games, as Brentford will be taking on Luton Town. Sheffield United will be playing against Burnley. Arsenal will be taking on Wolves. These are some of the games that maybe somebody could be interested in and really want to watch over the weekend, because the weekend is actually where we also want to keep busy with what is happening in the world of sports, because usually if there are no sports, maybe over the weekend, somebody could be also really asking themselves what exactly are they going to be doing. And really that is why it is very, very much important for us to also really sample some of the results for you to also to be maybe understanding what is happening in there. And really in the National League, we also did see a game that was between we also did see also a game that was going on, that's in the quarter conference league, that was also really where we did see those teams also really tussling it out. And really I want to remind you that all these games will be going out, and really for those who love watching football, and then weekend is sorted, and really with these games in La Liga also there will be games as far as Serie A. Also there will be games that between that is Empoli and Napoli. This is a tight game that will also be going on, as Verona will be taking on Udinese, and also this is another game. Meanwhile in Germany, FC Cologne will be taking on that Darmstadt, as FC Amsterdam will be taking on RB Leipzig, and Hoffenheim will be taking on that Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Wolfsburg will be taking on Bochum. These are some of the games that really somebody should be able to watch, and they'll also wait also to see also maybe which will be going on Sunday. We shall also be having games that is also in English Premier League, before I forget, as Everton will be taking on Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa will be taking on, that is Bournemouth, and Crystal Palace will be taking on West Ham United. Meanwhile, Fulham will be playing it against Liverpool in what we also say is a title decider right now, because every game is taken seriously as we also really get to the end of the season, because really the teams are remaining with very few games, and that is why every game is taken as a final match, and that is why every team is actually taking all the games as a final, as maybe as a game that is going to bring them trophies as far as these games are concerned. And really that is what we want to summarize the discussions with, and in a special way I want to thank whoever watched us right from the beginning of the week as we come to a close of the week, because our show, or the Kokoliriko Live, starts every Mondays to Fridays, and right from the hour of 7 a.m. until 9 o'clock. And after 9 o'clock, what we do have is the news bulletin Lubarati, and they can see the team is already here, also need to give you what is happening in the world of Aeolas are there, and that is why you also need to be part of the show. And really with that, I also want to appreciate my technical team that is led by the producer, Senior Dizon Pro, and not forgetting the camera woman, and this, she could be the only camera woman perhaps I know, and this is Aita, also for doing that quite a wonderful job. And really I want to appreciate whoever maybe participated in the show. To Wachawaseme, I do appreciate you. I also do not want to forget you as we come off to the end of the discussion, and we shall be bouncing back until next week. Have yourselves a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend as well. And for those who love football, the games are there for you to be part of. And really, that is where we come to a closer of the discussions with.